Hi there! Welcome. My name is Mac Guerrero, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel, welcome to my Instagram, wherever you're watching, thank you so much. And before I get into today's video, because I normally wouldn't talk about these people, but this is important. Before I get into that, I can remind you that you can follow me on social media. You can find me at Mac Guerrero on Instagram, at Mac Guerrero on TikTok. You can also check out mysticalmac.com, where you can learn a little bit about my tarot card readings. I'm doing 3 card readings for $44 and 5 card readings for $66, and all you have to do is email mysticalmactarot@gmail.com, put in the subject line which reading you're interested in, and we can set up a Zoom reading for you. I'm very excited about this. On mysticalmac.com, you can also find my blog, which is titled Mystical Mac. You can find information about my YouTube channel and my podcast. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and direct you to the description, because there I have compiled a bunch of links that you can choose from to support causes of today. So you can support the Black Lives Matter movement, you can support saving the oceans, you can support sexual assault victims, you can support all of the things, or you can support none of them, or you can just take a look and maybe just spread the word, which by the way is supporting. Even if you can't monetarily support something, you can certainly spread the word about it and get more people in the know, and eventually it will get to someone who can monetarily support it. And you did a great thing. So go ahead and go down to the description and pick something that you're passionate about and do what you can. Make the world a better place, one action, one little bit at a time. Speaking of making the world a better place, that is not what these people seem to be doing. Now, I'm going to be talking about something that I'm certain a ton of T channels already talked about. Not that I'm even halfway a T channel. I don't normally talk about commentary is not a thing I'm normally gonna do on things like this. Like what TikTok influencers and IG influencers and YouTube influencers do honestly doesn't really concern me most of the time until it does. And this concerns me because Nikita Dragon took it upon herself to throw a party for someone. I don't really know. They're probably like a TikTok star. I don't really know. And let's just say there was probably 100 million followers altogether at this event. Like the people that went collectively, easily were influencing hundreds of millions of people. Collectively. Because I know Charli D'Amelio was there, which by the way, I'm really disappointed in her. Really disappointed in her. I actually unfollowed her because of that, because I was just not down with it. I think that it's so, you're gonna support the Black Lives Matter movement, you're gonna essentially try to be this great role model, which I think for the most part she succeeds in doing, and then you're gonna go to this huge party during a pandemic where nobody's wearing a mask or giving a crap. And I just don't get it. Now she's 16, so I guess I'm gonna cut her a little bit of slack, except I have a really hard time cutting anyone slack that builds this kind of following. Even if you didn't intend on building this kind of following, you have to sort of understand that there is a responsibility that comes with it. It's like from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, and having that kind of following, especially when the majority of your following are children, and that's the thing, the majority of these influencers' followers are children. Children whom haven't been on this planet this long, haven't had a chance to really form who they are, especially in the society that doesn't encourage people to bloom into who they are, tries to condition people into being what they're not. Yeah, it's just not, it's not really acceptable to me to be an influencer and not have any awareness over the kind of impact that you're having. So Charli aside, she's young, yes, but she's created this following, and a lot of these kids are actually pretty young. They've created this following, and they are not using it to any sort of awesome degree because they all went to this party. Now, that's like the overarching thing, right? They all went to this party. Now, why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because it's just ludicrous to me. It's ludicrous to me that this is the degree to which individualism has gotten to. And I say individualism, not as far as to go as narcissism, though plenty of these people have pretty much flat out turned into narcissists at this point, I'm sad to say. But for the most part, I'm talking about individualism because there's this things as collectivism, meaning being aware of the collective, being aware of other people around you, being aware of your community. And then there's individualism, which is sort of just being very aware of yourself, what's good for you, etc. Both are needed in our society. We don't just want a bunch of people that are enmeshed with each other and don't have individuality, because then we would never get innovative ideas. We would never get a sense of newness. Like, we would never get a sense of new blood. We would never get and what I mean by that is we wouldn't see a new face. We wouldn't see new ideas. We wouldn't see a new look, something that inspires us towards change, right? So individualism is really awesome. But so is collectivism. Like, so is being aware of what's around you. If everyone was just out for themselves, then we wouldn't be able to, create community-based things. Like, all of these organizations below in the description would not have been created if people didn't genuinely care about helping other people and about the well-being of others. And living in a world where we are all very interdependent upon each other, like, if you honestly think that you're meant to be completely autonomous, try holding your breath. Do it. You're gonna pass out, and then your body's gonna force you to breathe the Earth's air again. Try going days without food. And the reason I put the breath before that is because there are breatharians out there who honestly don't eat a whole lot of food, but they need the Earth's air to breathe and to live. So by virtue of us existing here, we are interdependent, meaning that concern for the collective is imperative if we're going to actually succeed as a race. And succeed, I mean just stay alive. Stay alive. Anyone? Okay, Hamilton? Okay. Like, that's very important to consider, right? Let me just, for example, like, the countries that actually got the pandemic together. Czech Republic, they issued masks, mandatory, all this stuff and whatever, and I'm not here to talk about the masks. You can watch my IGTV video if you want to talk about the masks. But, like, they issued things and people did things, for example, and there was a shortage of medical masks. Like, people not only got together with their families to sew masks, but they actually gave them out to their neighborhoods. And I got this information from a person who actually lives in the Czech Republic, right? I am guessing that other countries that have a similar sense of collectivism also have gotten this thing pretty under control fairly quickly. And I'm not saying that the US wouldn't have been able to do it. I'm just saying that there are just a lot of people here that are stuck in toxic individualism. And what that is to me is you've just swung way too far to the other side of the pendulum, and you're way too stuck in self-service. Now, I identify as a hypersensitive person. I identify, some of you may call it an empath, which means that I'm very susceptible to my boundaries being infringed upon by other people's energies and stuff. So, of course, I have developed a healthy sense of individualism that allows me to not necessarily shield myself, but allows me to be very aware of when I have the energy and am equipped to deal with the outside world and when I don't. And that individualism allows me to be aware of that. On another note, my collectivism also allows me to be aware of that on another level, and that is that if I go out into the world in a way in which I'm depleted from energy and I'm susceptible to being influenced by others' energies, I am not doing them a service either, because me going out into the world and essentially just taking on other people's energies, I'm taking on the emotional weight that would allow their emotional muscles to get stronger. So if I take on that weight, they're not going to get a chance to emotionally develop and to emotionally go through the things that they need to go through in order to become more self-actualized, to become more conscious of how when we serve others, as long as our cup is full, we also serve ourselves. So I just think that this is really a display of toxic individualism. I'm very disappointed in a lot of these influencers, and I'm gonna use the last little bit of my video to talk about how some of them actually took to, their social medias to apologize for being at the party, like for there was a girl who was with Tana Mojo. I'm even sad I said her name. She doesn't deserve any time or at all, in my opinion. It's all my opinion. But there was a girl who was with her on that video where she was like, we just don't care. And she apologized, over Twitter or Instagram or something. And I'm just over the apologies. Like, I am over these influencer apologies, because if anyone has realized or has any sort of awareness to see that these people just care about their images, they don't actually care about doing the right thing. Because if they cared about doing the right thing and making a statement and actually influencing people with awareness and with a sense of, hey, let's be mindful of our fellow human, our fellow bird, our fellow whatever, like our fellow cohabitants of this planet, be them animals or humans are animals, be them animals or rocks or whatever they may be, they actually had a chance to make a statement and go, I'm not going to that party. This is why I'm not going to that party. None of them did that. And then they take to social media to apologize for it. And in my opinion, it's just like, look, your apology's cool and all, but just do better. Because a lot of these influencers have honestly apologized a lot. And the words I'm sorry just don't really hold any meaning coming out of their mouths anymore. It just is very obvious to me that they're apologizing so that they are not hurt in their personal image, in their brand image. They don't want to lose their followers, they don't want to lose the clout, but they don't want to have responsibility for actually thinking through their decisions before they follow through on them. And the awful part is that a bunch of those people likely caught coronavirus because they just weren't aware. And it's funny that they were saying how like people's temperatures were checked before. Well, how about all the asymptomatic people that we've heard about? I actually knew a person who was asymptomatic until he actually lost his sense of smell and taste. But until then, he was asymptomatic. So he wouldn't have shown up on a temperature on the thermometer. So they would have let him in, and he would have spread coronavirus to everybody in there. So it's just crazy. And then I'm going to touch on the last little bit of this sort of entitlement that, yes, you're rich and you're famous, so chances are you're going to get the care that you need. You're going to be able to afford the care you need. That's really crappy that rhetoric runs how you take this sense of responsibility that comes with having millions of followers. It actually makes me quite sad. And I'm just really hoping that these influencers do better. Like, I'm really hoping that they realize the impact that they have and that this isn't just them la-di-da. This is an ever-changing world, especially right now with a global pandemic that is going to affect us for sure at least the next decade or so. And I hope that they learn to be more mindful. And I hope that if you do follow some of these people, you become aware of this behavior and you take accountability for yourself in some way. You don't have to unfollow Charlie, or whoever like I did, but just be aware of when they are not doing their due diligence and are not doing the responsible thing. Because choosing to support that behavior also says something about the supporter. And it's not my job to tell you what it says about you if you're someone who supports that kind of behavior. It's just my job to ask you to inquire into yourself about that. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and follow me on social media. All my links are linked below. And speaking of links, check out the links below. Pick something to support. Be the change you want to see in the world. And I'll catch you guys next time. Stay mystical.